guess I probably should tell you a little bit about me now, seeing he's done the whole why did I become a geek. Well, I guess I can tell you how I got into riding as well. Since I was little, I've been fascinated with horses. So I rode from the age of about 7 years old to about 25, where I had a horse, and I ended up stopping because I could no longer keep my horse. I needed to sell my horse because it was, finances. It was pretty expensive. It was about $500 a month for board on a horse, and that was more than I was paying on my own rent at the time. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense to spend all of my paycheck taking care of a horse and buying equipment, and I needed a car and I needed to do other things. So I ended up stopping for a while. I ended up selling him, and it got me so depressed that I stopped riding for quite a while. I got back into it about 4 years ago and had some pretty nasty experiences, just because I was so nervous about it. And I'm not really certain why I was nervous, because there was no freaking reason for it. It just was. So I got back into riding for a little bit, and then I stopped. I've been interested in bikes for a while because, it's kind of a natural. I'm curious how they're going to be. I used to do all the riding, so I wanted to try it. I really, really wanted to try it. And my dad, how I miss him, decided he knew that I wanted to try it, and he's always the kind of person who was, why don't you go out here and try it in a controlled situation and see how you feel about it. So he had a friend who still does. Well, our friend is still in our lives. My dad is no longer, but he is still a family friend and a beloved family friend. He took me out on his Goldwing for the very first ride that I've ever had, and it was so windy. It just tore at my face. It was horrible, but I loved every minute of it because I was so much taller than him, so I just got a full-fledged wind to the face with no sunglasses on. It was just not the most pleasant experience, but it was also so much fun. So I realized at that point I really wanted to ride, and I was going through like a tough situation with a boyfriend who I realized quite quickly was not the boyfriend for me. Attitudes were not quite what I needed in a significant other. So I ended up breaking it off with him and started talking with Sir Burg. And Sir Burg had this nice little Bergman gathering scheduled. So I decided, I want to spend some time with him. I want to go to this little bike event. So I flew out there. He picked me up on the Bergman, and we rode back to his house. And I visited him for a couple of days, and then we went to the biker event, and I realized he is the other half of my soul pretty damn quick. We're geeks together. He loves the bikes like I do. And he was just a big confidence builder. So after a week of spending it in the saddle, I realized I really wanted a bike. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So he said, okay, well, I'll help. Tell me which bike you're interested in. We'll take a look at the statistics and see. Oh yeah, he said statistics. That's my geek. So we looked at the statistics on the bike that I was looking at, which was a 1995 Vulcan 800. A nice little cherry red cruiser. It was a beautiful bike, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, and I really loved it. I managed to pick it up for about $1,500. And then with taxes and everything, it came to about $2,500, and I paid for it in cash. So I had this thing completely paid off. I had no bills, and I wanted to ride. So I was a little bit nervous, and it's all about taking that course and getting the confidence up and stuff. So Sir Burg's like, you know what? I want you to be safe. I want you to take the course. So happy birthday. And he bought me the course. So I took my course, and within a week of taking the course, I graduated. I had my license. I was ready to go, and somebody pulled out in front of me. Yay! And caused my bike to go down. I ended up, as some of people who know me a little bit better, I actually have pretty significant back injury that causes me a lot of pain all the time. Like right now, the fact that I have this backpack on is just murdering me. But because I don't have storage on this bike, I have no choice. And that's with just a small little load that's in the bike. Like I got a helmet that's about a pound, and I've got a camera which is probably about 5 pounds. So not a whole lot in there, but so it's just it's a bad situation. But so here we are. I'm riding. I ended up buying. I can stand on this bike so easy. Oh, this bike is so awesome. I'm sorry, distracted, squirrel. At work, they call me shiny because I see sparkly things and I get distracted. So I apologize. No, I don't. I'm me and I know it, which is part of my charm. I think it's a charm. So I started riding. That's pretty much where it was. It wasn't as intriguing as his. I didn't need it for anything else other than I wanted it. As soon as I had my car paid off, I went out and I bought the bike I wanted. But unfortunately, the bike I wanted got destroyed within the 2 months. So I ended up having to get another bike, and I obviously wasn't going to settle. I looked around, looked at a couple of different bikes. I saw some that I liked, but they weren't that bike that just took my breath away. So I held off. Then a friend of mine said, well, I saw this bike. I think you might like it. It's this little Honda, like an 83 Cafe Cruiser type Honda. But it was awful. It was so ugly. It looked like it had the original paint and had been ridden a few too many times. And it was tall, so tall I couldn't even tiptoe on it. It was so not what I was looking for in a bike ever. But while I was sitting there and chatting with them, one of the guys at the location that was selling that bike said, you know what? I think I have the bike just for you. His father had bought himself a motorcycle. Hey, you! Don't be doing it. So his father had bought the VStar, and at the same time he got the VStar, he got the opportunity to adopt a thoroughbred mare off the track. That was around the same time that they were having all the track closures, so people were clearing out old stock, I guess you could call it, getting some fresh blood in, and getting rid of the ones that weren't winners. So they ended up giving him this horse, and he's like, you know what? I fell in love with the horse, and I'm like, I don't even want to ride the bike anymore because the horse fulfills me like the bike never did. So he had about 69 kilometers on this bike, and I picked it up from him for, he paid $5,500 for it. I paid him $5,000 for it. So he lost about $500. He also put a crash bars and new mirrors and stuff like that. So I had a few custom items that were on it. I didn't pay for the custom items. I paid for the bike. Yeah, it was just a perfect match made in heaven, and I bought the bike, finished paying it off, and been in love with her ever since. And I actually went to trade her in for this one, and my sister came to me and kind of got after me because I had just finished buying it, and she knew that I was still very much in love with this bike. This bike is just so nice, and it's kind of perfect for me. So I ended up buying this bike instead of trading for it. And I'm not regretting that because now I have 2 freaking awesome motorcycles and I can have situational riding, right? So now I can go when I'm attending an event, I can go on the VStar, which will be kind of not my show bike, but definitely my event bike. and this will be my hooligan bike, aka not hooligan here, but I can pretend to be a hooligan. So that's basically the story of me. I ended up horseback riding for years, fell in love with riding, and decided to change in one steed for another. And now I'm leasing another horse, so I actually have 3 steeds to work with. I'm a geek too, by the way. My trained profession is that I was trained for being a web designer and a computer programmer. And the job that I work in is actually not too far outside of my field, which is supporting merchants when it comes to setting up their online stores. So, I mean, I may not do a lot of the programming. I do dabble in it every so often, but I mean, it's not really what I do. It's the other. Alright, so I'm probably going to cut this off here because I don't really want to take it to my sister's house. So the film will still be running for a few moments in case anything interesting happens. But I'm going to sign off now, and I hope you like these vlogs. Please let me know in the comments below if you like the combination moto vlog / horse vlog. If you do, I'll have a few more of them. Make sure that you keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. Peace. And that looked really weird. Yeah.